Okay, y'all. So, um, I'm trying to do this to practice not being shy and insecure about how I look and where I'm at. And so, what I'm gonna do is record daily dialogues and just keep doing that to keep pushing and building up confidence to just feel more organic in front of a camera. Okay. I feel like I've been in a fog for a bit about my confidence with just depicting how I feel, what I've been thinking, and also giving belief in my story, belief in that my life is also meaningful. And so I was just doing a little bit of some yoga, just it came to me that maybe to push out of that bubble that I've been feeling, just start recording. And so today I will just smoke and describe some things about myself. And if there's anyone that's watching this or that gets a chance to see this, just leave some questions in the comments that you may feel I haven't spoken over. Yeah, so I'm gonna start from the beginning about who I am. So I'm from Chicago and I grew up in Roseland. I'm the oldest of three, and my mom had me and we stayed with our grandparents in the beginning because my mom had me when she was 19 going on to 20. And after that, she had my sister about 2 years later, and she moved into her own place in the Pullman Projects, or no, it was Plumbers Hall. And Plumbers Hall is an apartment complex. I think we were in like the C block. We were in the C block of the building, and that said apartment is close to Butler and Corliss High School. Butler and Corliss both share a building, and so yeah, that's where that project and complex is at. And so we were there until like I was about like 6 or 7, and so I really thought anyway, but we were there since I was like 6 or 7 because I remember that she said someone had got shot in that apartment building that she knew, and my grandparents were sick, and so she came back to Roseland to help take care of my grandparents. And by that time, my brother was born, so my mom has 3 kids. She's working a job, and she's also trying to help out her parents. And there are certain moments where I remember she was trying to convey like the importance of eating better and whatnot with my grandparents. Anytime she saw my grandpa eat a certain thing of like ready or whatever, she would snap on him, because I think around that time he was trying to battle having diabetes, and then with time he became diabetic, but it hasn't like been too bad. He doesn't like get a scratch and then it turns gangrene. Like, he's been really good on his health as of recently. So, and for the past a decade or 2, yeah. So so around that time, when we got to the house, it was feuds going on a little bit, but it wasn't out of a lack of care. And she also had experienced, I recognize with her growing up and having kids at the same time. She had kids. She had a child before she became 20, before she got in her 20s. And so she had to live and be a 20-year-old while having kids. And I think that is such a feat. And it was a mix of things, because I'm seeing all the wildness. I'm seeing how a 20-year-old is living, but that 20-year-old is my mom. And so in my mind, I'm like, certain moments I'm like, this is kind of crazy right now. Is this really happening? Is this the person that's doing this? We're gonna have to rewind on that. Is this really going on right now? Because as a 20-year-old, I don't got no kids, but I know damn well if a child was around me now and seeing the life experiences that are going on, that child would also be stunned as fuck. Like, oh my God. Right now, I currently stay with my parents, but I was going to move. But that's a whole nother story right now. I'm just saying, being a 20-year-old in existence in general is crazy. And so to have a child also growing up with someone that's growing up is going to be a double entendre of like, oh, she's realizing things as a parent, but she's also not had that time to realize that for herself, because she was still growing up. And I'm speaking of her because at the time she was the primary person that took care of me and my siblings. My dad was a bachelor for a bit, okay? I remember certain points of him being there, but my mom was there majority of the time. My dad was trying to take care of child support, okay? And he loved us from afar. That is the thing that he was experiencing. And so there are certain things where I still have to learn how to forgive within myself towards him, and as well as myself towards her. But with me acknowledging the circumstance. Hold on. Okay, so yeah, just nevertheless, it's a lot of growing pains going on around here, and I had the exponent, the second power of those growing pains, because I was growing up with someone that was growing up. Ooh, let's clock the T. And it may sound like I'm whispering, and it is because I live in an apartment where there are people, and I don't, they can tell I'm talking, but they ain't gotta know what I'm talking about. Okay, that's just so funny. But yeah, so with that being said, growing up with someone that's growing up with people that are growing up. My dad also was just getting into he was 20 going on to 21. She was 19 going on to 20. So they're both a year apart. Okay. And they had 3 kids. Okay, so by the time when I was, how old was I? I was 2 when my sister was born. Because me and my sister were 2 years apart. And then I was 3 when my brother was born. So by the time my mom was 23, she had She had her last kid, but she had 3 kids. So she had 3 kids by the time of being 23. My dad had 3 kids by the time he was 24. All right. See that timeline? I'm gonna learn how to input timelines while I'm talking about this. Okay, so that is the perspective. And I'm telling you right now, I met some 24-year-old men. None of them should have 3 kids. Okay? By the time of being 24, I know some homosexuals that I would never curse a child to be the father of. Oh my gosh. So with that being said, the mentals on these said individuals being parents was not all the way there. Okay, it was still developing. Your prefrontal cortex doesn't stop developing until you're 24 or 25. Okay? But that doesn't mean that you're sentient. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? It's highly insane to say that 24-year-old anybody should have the spiritual capacity to handle 3 kids. Okay, so I believe there was a really big support system around them when we were in existence, and I remember the support system, and so that's what helped. 20-year-olds that are parents should not be parenting alone. They should have a support system. That's all I'm gonna say. Okay, strong support system, healthy people that are around the kids. I remember there was one person that was around us that I never want to be around ever again, and that motherfucker wanted to pop your hand for you to remember shit, and be super aggressive. Like, bitch, be aggressive like that with your kids. We're not your kids. My mom don't even be like that. And then you mad at us for being kids, for being playful. You just want us to sit there and be quiet and stare all day. Like, bro, Buddy can go eat ass. I still remember that nigga till this day. I could name drop that nigga right now, for real. But I got bigger ops than him. All I can say is thank you for helping me remember my birthday, bitch. Ugh. But the fact that you just have to have healthy people around your kids, okay? And it takes a minute to know the healthy people. And so, yeah, just be mindful who you have around your kids when you're in your 20s, because I remember some horrible moments. And yeah, besides that aggressive person, I was assaulted when I was younger, and I was young enough to I didn't know how to speak about it. I still have not told her about it, because talking about her, I haven't told my mom about the person that did that. And I remember the things that my mind can remember since I was 4. I know names, faces, the parents, okay, of who did it. Man, I seen that motherfucker at a funeral, at a family funeral. He thought he saw a ghost. You would have thought he saw a ghost. Yeah. And so, yeah, that's all I can really suggest, though, from recognizing that experience. Like, it was just so hectic, because I had parents that were both growing up. I mean, I'm saying parent because the main person that was in my peripheral vision, in my sight, was my mom. My dad was there, but he was there from a distance. And there was a lot of times where I would want his presence. I would want for him to show up to a game. And I would get irritated because the person that was there the most presently was my mom. And my dad lived to be a bachelor because of a question that he asked us. He asked me and my siblings when I was 7. And he brought that shit up literally earlier this year. And it's just like, I was 7. You known this woman for over how many years at that point? Like, bro, you knew her since high school. Like, you known this woman for 10 years plus. By the time I was 7. And you not gonna fight. You gonna ask me a question. Who do we want to stay with? Him or mom? Dude, I'm still learning who you are still. We don't know. We didn't know that woman. We didn't know that woman as strongly as he knew her. Don't make your kids have ultimatums when they're too young to be conscious and aware of the shit that they're agreeing to. Because I was 7, and I didn't know that later on down the line that lady would argue with me a certain way. And anyway, nevertheless, that's other tea for later. But don't make your kids have adult decisions. Don't ask them adult questions. Like, it's slow. Later on. This is as a person that was a kid that experienced shit like that. If you're in your 20s and you think your child is conscious and aware enough to respond to certain questions, think again, baby. You still don't even know how to respond to certain questions. And you in your fucking 20s. And you gonna ask a 7-year-old? What the fuck is wrong with y'all? What is being an adult for? So yeah, that is the beginning of my life. That is the parental beginning of my existence. And now, in the next video, I will be sharing the conscious awareness that, the point when consciousness has hit me into now also experiencing life in my own way, right? So I think that really started around pre-K, and then I'll tell you my story of my life during school, because I feel like school and summers really did just develop me, as well as also the parents that I had and stuff. And so yeah, the next thing I will be talking about in the next video will be about my schooling and that whatnot. So yeah, catch me next time. I'm gonna post this unedited, or I should edit this. I'm gonna edit this. Love yourself. Don't let your thoughts be your enemy, and be your own friend, not a friend of me.